Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. You're joining ASAP in the morning. It is Friday, September 30th, 10:07 on the East Coast. I am Craig, and I am joined by Pride. Good morning, sir.
Welcome back. How you feeling? Appreciate it.
Good, man. Guy. We're doing pretty good. Had the hurricane roll through, Hurricane Ian, roll through Central Florida a couple days ago. It's affecting some of our others. Ray up in Jacksonville. So definitely thoughts and prayers go up to him.
I'm supposed to get hit with that today. So how that happens, I don't know. They already canceled school. That's why I'm not working. I was supposed to go in to do training, and they called us yesterday, and they were like, "Yeah, remember you're supposed to come in for training?" I was like, "Yeah, what time are you going?" He was like, "Yeah, we lied." I was like, "Zoinks!" I was like, you got it." So here we are.
Yeah, we've had. It was pretty wild. They canceled school for our kids today this morning after my fiance was taking them to school and there was nobody there, but they didn't communicate that school was closed again. So the kids are off school for another couple days. I'm going back to work today now that it rolled through, but it's a pretty nasty, pretty vicious storm. A lot of people, our thoughts and prayers go out to those that were affected all throughout Florida and those in the Southeast that are currently or about to get affected. Georgia, North and South Carolina going to be affected potentially. It was a Category 4 came through and hit Fort Myers, rolled through the state. By the time it got to us, it was down to, I think, a 1 or a 2. And then it started strengthening again back in the ocean and going back up the coast. So our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody on the ASAP family and those that have been affected by Hurricane Ian. But hey, it works out because I'm happy to have you back on the morning show, Pride.
It's been a while. It's been a long while. Let's get it away.
It's been a little while. We'll be having Chris Gonzo is going to be joining us in a few minutes this morning as well.
Speaking of the devil.
There he is. We were just talking about you, Gonzo. Good morning.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah,
What's up, Pride?
I beat him in fantasy 1 week. He shaves the beard. It's crazy.
Was that a bet? Was that a bet you guys had?
No, it actually wasn't. I don't know. Like, he just randomly shaved his beard. Like, I was watching one. I think it was one of the ones with your pops, Chris, that you were doing. And I look, and I was like, he looks different. Why does he look different? And I'm looking. I'm like, this area looks different. I'm looking. I'm like, this man messed up the game. He shaved.
Yeah, it was just time to try something different. Time for a change. It's been a couple of years since I'd shaved, so
it should have been a couple more years.
Well, it looks good, Gonzo. It looks good. But thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and of course on Twitter. In order to kind of see all the great content that we have here on ASAP Network, you can find us on all the different platforms. You can find us on Facebook at All Sports All Plays, YouTube ASAP Sports Network, on Twitter at ASAP Network 1, and on Twitch at ASAP Network. Go ahead if you like the stuff you see here on ASAP Network. We've got a few goals that we're trying to hit on YouTube. We're pushing for 1,000 subs. We're very close to that mark as well. We've got over 10,000 follows on Facebook, so definitely join the party there too as well. Like, share, and comment. Subscribe, depending on the channel that you're watching on. You can see a lot of the great content we have. Gonzo's on like every single show that we have during the week. He's on Easy Money, Afternoon Blitz. We've got Red Kingdom, Horseshoe Talk. Gonzo's on Horseshoe Talk. We have a lot of great shows here on ASAP Network, and you can also find us on all those platforms. All right. Last night's football, Thursday night football. It was a great game, but
was it really?
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to be excited about it, given what happened to Tua Tagovailoa, and it's such a tough. I don't know if you guys watched this play out. I watched it live.
Yep.
And it looked pretty brutal.
Oh yeah, no, it was bad. Can I say one thing real quick? Because a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about is going, the NFL needs to take a stand on this. The NFL, I'm like, your unintelligence is showing. When you enter the concussion protocol, the NFL clears you. You need clearance from the NFL and the team. That's why the NFLPA is investigating this.
And a non-affiliated doctor as well.
Yes. So the next time you see someone say that the NFL needs to take a stand on this, what they're actually saying is, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I am pretending to say the right thing. Because the NFL is just as much at fault for what happened to Tua Tagovailoa as the Miami Dolphins. And this could potentially, because Craig, you saw it live. You saw his fingers.
Yes,
you saw his fingers.
Crazy.
And they said it on the broadcast, because usually when I watch stuff, I watch it muted. I have no sound. Because I want to look at it, and then whatever opinion I have about it, I want to have it. When he fell, when he got flung down, I was like, yeah, no, I gotta hear this. And when I'm listening to it, I forgot which one of the announcers said it, but they basically said that they had a independent medical guy that they talked to, and that the guy said that he used to work for the Dolphins, and he worked, I think, for the Bills or something. But this is a guy who's been around.
Yeah.
Yes,
been around for a long time.
Yeah, like he does this. He said when your fingers go like that, when it's that stiffness, you are now looking for something neurological.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone wants to say, oh yeah, it's just Miami's fault, I mean this with as much vitriol, as much disrespect, as much rudeness as I possibly can say this. You're a moron and you don't know what you're talking about. Because the NFL is at fault for this too as well. So don't try to pretend to be a knight in shining armor and be like, the NFL needs to do better. They need to punish the Dolphins. You're an idiot. Because the NFL cleared them too.
Yeah, what kind of makes this, I think, even more even more suspect, if you will, is that independent guest that they had on the broadcast talking about it. He said when someone's body makes that kind of reaction, hitting, and they're showing it again on Get Up right now. When your body has that kind of reaction, it's in part also because of previous head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Which he said that because last week he got pushed over by Milano in the Buffalo game, and he landed on his back. And then he also hit the back of his head. So everybody's been, Tony Gonzalez, I think, hit it on the head on the post game. Everybody's following the same narrative. Oh, it's his back, or it's his ankle, it's his back. But now that this came out, and the NFLPA was starting their investigation, I think you're gonna find out that multiple people, not just somebody, multiple people last week were at fault. To your point, Pride, multiple people were at fault because you're supposed to have. It's not just the player anymore saying, "No, hey, I'm good." I forget who it was. Somebody was reading the NFLPA bylaws about this concussion protocol, and Tua Tagovailoa last week was the definition of what's called a no-go. That's like you're showing signs that you should not be back in this game. He was the definition of a no-go to a T, and they still let him play. And then this week, it's kind of further exacerbating. Like, I'm at this point, Tua's had such a good, and I've been a doubter of him leading up to this season. I will say that. Like, I'll admit that. He's had a hell of a first few games in his season. I would hate for these 2 weeks compounding to completely derail his career. I would hate for that to happen. I don't ever want that to happen to anybody, but it just, to me, that's what this feels like. Is I hope he comes back and he's completely healthy as best as can be. And after he got taken to the hospital, he does have movement of all extremities. He was released from the hospital and flew back with the team to Miami. So that's good. That's a really good sign already. But I just hope that this doesn't derail his entire career, because we've seen guys have to retire early due to concussion.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you're like you. I agree with you. It's going to come out that a lot of people were at fault last week, and it might be a little bit on Tua as well. I mean, if you're telling them it's your back and not your head, hell, Joe Montana and some of them other players came out, or Drew Brees talking about how, oh yeah, I've had concussions before and lied about it and said I was okay, so I could stay in the game. So, and that's what these independent doctors are supposed to be for, is to try to prevent that from happening. But somewhere it seems like along the chain of command, this wasn't handled right last week.
Right.
Because if you look at that hit last night, yeah, he got slung to the ground, but his head whiplashed and hit a lot harder last week in the Buffalo hit than what it did last night.
Yeah.
And then, but man, I mean, it was crazy to watch live, and it sucked because it made, like you said, it made it hard to watch the rest of the football game. Because I mean, yeah, these are players, and we don't know them on a personal level, but still, we watch them all the time, and you follow these guys. So when something like that happens, you want to see these guys play every week. You don't want to see a guy miss games, or like you said, I hope it don't happen. I mean, this could derail his career. I mean, you never know how your body's going to act when you have neurological. I mean, I'm dealing with nerve damage and stuff now. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen when you start, especially with your brain. I mean, your a brain, it's like your back. I mean, it's weird, and it affects everybody different as well.
Yeah, brain injuries are so. I know they've been a big topic of discussion in the NFL. Over the last couple of years, talking about that's why we have the new concussion protocols. That's why all these things are now in place with the NFLPA and the NFL. But it's brain injuries are still like there's still so much more that we're learning about what they have, like what effects they can have. And realistically, like looking at that play, I would not be surprised to see if I forget who the guy was that took down Tua. Josh Tuopu, or Tupuo. Tupuo. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get fined and or suspended, because the manner in which he ripped Tua to the ground was completely unnecessary. Like, he was coming around falling. That's one thing. If you come and you're falling down, you bring him down. He was going to go down either way. But then as he's coming down, I mean, these guys are strong, right? And he comes through and he rips him to the ground, which creates a whiplash, which then forces him to hit his head, his neck, his back on the ground. Thankfully for him, even his elbow touched first, and maybe that hopefully kind of broke a little bit of his fall.
I thought he hit his head harder last week than he did this week.
Yeah,
because his head kind of whiplashed more last week than it did this week. Maybe a fine. I don't think he'll get suspended though.
I think but that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if one or both of those things happen coming out of this. And it's not just because Tua got hurt, but they always go back and review things.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was a dirty play either. I know some people want to, because of the outcome, want to try to say it was a dirty play. I didn't think it was a dirty play. Now, if he does get fined, maybe because sometimes you see where they get fined for kind of like like you said, whipping them down to the ground. Maybe that, but I don't think the guy was trying to hurt Tua, so I don't think he'll get suspended. But you never know with the NFL, especially in these days, and with the outcome of what happened. One thing that did surprise me was that they let him fly, because usually when you have concussions and stuff like that, they don't want you to get on a plane. So I was surprised that they let him leave the hospital and was able to get on the plane with the Dolphins and fly back last night. I'm surprised they didn't keep him overnight.
Everyone's been messing up on this whole thing. That doesn't surprise me, bro. The kid could have had a stroke, died, been crippled. They would have resuscitated him and thrown him on the flight and let him die in Miami, bro. Like I don't know what it is, bro. Like, everyone disrespects Tua Tagovailoa. Everyone. Now the NFL is letting this dude play with a concussion, which I don't know if anyone has touched on it yet. But last week, did you see when he stood up? My guy stumbled twice. He walked how I walk when I'm drunk. If that's not a red flag.
When that happened, the first thing I said was the only time I've ever seen somebody walk like that is after they got their ass knocked out on UFC or BK or bare knuckle fighting.
Yes, it was horrible.
That's when you see guys wobbled like that.
Yes, you
want to tell me it's a back injury? Come on.
yeah. When they call it a back injury, I was like, all right, cool. All right. I mean, it's not it, but okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah. So I wanted to, and I don't know, before I kind of move on, I do want to touch on some of Damien's comments, his points here in the chat, but Pride, I don't know if you you said you watched it and it was on mute, but we were talking about Josh Tupou, who was the guy who tackled Tua. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets post game fined and or suspended in the manner that which he whipped Tua to the ground, because while he was in the process of tackling, you could tell it was definitely, the play was about over, and he rips him and throws him to the ground.
So,
and that's a play the NFL's trying to get rid of.
So here's the thing. There's one word you said that why I believe he will not get suspended. About. It is the old adage, you play until you hear the whistle. No one blew the whistle. It was not a dirty play. And on top of that, if Tua doesn't come in here with CTE in the background, he doesn't lock up like that. He gets flung like normal. Because, again, this is, you know who else got flung like that last week? Ryan Tannehill.
And I think Tua hit the ground harder last week than what he did last night.
Exactly. He did. It's just he still had something. He still had something there that when he felt that bump, it basically made his entire body shut down and go, all right, Chief, this is too much.
Man, that was some scary.
Yeah. And
crazy shit to watch on TV.
I don't think he's going to get fined. I don't think he's going to get suspended. I don't think there's going to be any disciplinary measures. But the reason why I believe it is quite simple. I don't think it was a dirty play. The whistle wasn't blown. It was a situation where I need to get this dude down. What am I going to do? I'm either going to pick him up and slam him, or I'm going to fling him. Because where he was, he couldn't make the how people want to call proper tackle. He was out of position to do it. So in that position where he was going, you really only got one or two options. You either pick the dude up and slam him, or you just fling him. Another thing to remember, as much as it hurts to say this, he did his job. As a defensive lineman, Your job is to A, hit a guy, and B, if you can knock him out the game, that'd be really nice too. It's unfortunate and it sucks to say that, but if you listen to any hard-hitting defensive player, forget the line, any hard-hitting defensive player, Troy Polamalu. I know it's Polamalu. I call him Polamalu. All right? I call him Polamalu. Okay? Him. Ed Reed. Okay?
Oh, they were trying to take people's heads off.
And when you asked them, what would they say? Look, I'm trying to make the play, but if I can knock him out for a play or two, or heck, even the game, I did my job. Even though he wasn't a hard hitter, Darrelle Revis had that same mentality. When he would hit you, he was like, look, man,
Sean
I get it.
Taylor.
I'm more of a cutter, but I'm trying to knock you out the gate.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with you no more. I want you out.
Yeah.
And that's just a sad reality of it. I don't think the NFL can, if the NFL suspends him or something, it's going to be very, very interesting, or even fines him. Because again, and Chris, you said it earlier, he hit the ground harder last week.
Right.
And I think if last week doesn't happen, then this play just goes under the radar and no one really cares.
I think he still would have been, he probably would have reacted this week similar to what he reacted last week, as far as like he tries to get up, maybe he kind of doubles over or something. But the fact that you have it back-to-back weeks, yeah, I agree that there's already a lot more attention being paid to Tua because of what happened last week.
Not even a full week. You're only talking 4 or 5 days since they had
right. They were on the short
Thursday
week.
night.
To have two we're probably all in agreement here. He had a full-blown concussion last week. To have two concussions in 4 or 5 days, that's some serious trauma and some serious potential long-term injury that Tua could be sustaining. And it's not good for his career. But Damian had mentioned it reminded him of Eric LeGrand, who is the Rutgers player that was paralyzed on the kickoff. As far as how he laid there and his legs were like elevated, yeah, I agree. It kind of felt like that a little bit. Let's hope that that's not the case. But it does kind of remind us a little bit of that. And he had mentioned a few minutes ago, Tua's a little bit at fault because he could have told the team he didn't want to play. You're not incorrect, but here's the thing. If you are a professional football player, go back to last week. Against Buffalo. They bring him over to the tent. They supposedly put him through the protocol.
This is supposed to be a 6-step protocol evaluation that they go through to get back on the field. So you're telling me he passed all 6 steps. It don't make no sense.
But part of it is to take his decision out of it, because guys are these pros, they want to play no matter what.
Oh yeah.
They know they want to go and help their team win. They want to go, especially guys, if they are playing for contracts, or in this case, Tua's had numbers that are out of this world through the first couple weeks. And you know, those guys, they're competitors. They want to play. So if you ask them, it's like a pitcher in baseball. If he's 7 innings in and he's pitching a shutout, you try to pull him? He goes, no, coach, I'm good. And you're putting him on a pitch count. It's the same thing. They want to compete. They want to be out there and play. So he could have fully said this week that, hey, I'm not really feeling great after last week. I don't really know if I can go. But it's just that mentality that unless you are in a position that he was in tonight, you're not coming off the field. So that's
go on, Chris.
And another thing is, it's just like the Dak Prescott miss games because they're afraid they're going to lose their spot. Look how Dak's trying to rush back because Cooper Rush has won a couple games. So I mean, that's another thing. These guys don't want to miss no games because they're afraid they missed 2, 3, 4 games. They might lose their spot. Not saying that Bridgewater is going to come in and take to his spot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But the threat is there because no one thought Dak Prescott would take Tony Romo's job that quickly. No one thought Patrick Mahomes would take
Alex Smith, yeah.
Alex Smith's job back
Tom Brady
quickly.
taking Drew Bledsoe's job.
I was just going to say.
Brady taking Drew Bledsoe. No one expected Mac Jones to be started over Cam Newton before the preseason, if we're going to be honest. So I do understand that. I just got two things to say real fast. I just want to touch on Damian's point. Or well, technically three, because he says it's Tua's fault a little bit. Tua is in a situation where he's in a lose-lose situation. Because if he cares about his body and he sits out, Damian, you'd be the first person to say he's always injured. Then he plays through it, gets hurt, and it's his fault.
Or that he's off.
It's bizarre. You guys, everyone loves toughness until it's someone you don't like. Then all of a sudden, it's his fault. Every single player in the NFL, from Tom Brady to Gardner Minshew and everyone in between, what do they say? I could be paralyzed from the neck down. Roll me out there.
Well, Drew Brees said last night that he's lied multiple times about having concussions so he could stay in the game.
Yep.
And now when Tua does it, now we gotta look. No, he's a player. His ego's gonna be in the way. It goes to Craig's point. You don't ask him if he wants to play.
Rules are for.
Yes, you don't ask him. You go through the 5-step process. And by the way, how many days has it been in between?
4, maybe 5.
They played Sunday, right? It was Sunday, and then they played today, right?
Yep.
Or yesterday, right? So that's what, 4? Let's call it
4 days.
4 days? Mathematics, brother. You talk about he did 5 steps in 4 days? By the way, these are the steps. Well, technically, it is 6 steps, technically, because the first step is rest and recovery. So unless this dude is resting and recovering in 5 minutes, which he is Tua Tagovailoa, so it is possible. But unless he's doing that, there's no way he went through all this, because after that, it's limited activity, right? Then it's aerobic exercises, which is basically non-contact stuff to make sure that his hand-eye coordination is fine. Then football-specific exercises, which that one basically comes along to remember how Dak Prescott did that weird hip thing? And he was basically running plays when he was all by himself? Okay, that's that. That's what that is. Okay? Then club-based non-contact training drills, which see part 3 with pads. That's all it is. And then 4, guess what 4 is? You gotta go through a whole practice. Full contact and everything. You gotta go full practice. Then you gotta go back to a neurosurgeon from the NFL that clears him.
But see what the problem was on Sunday, he was never put in the concussion protocol. So he didn't they didn't make him go through those steps.
Exactly. So he didn't start till what, Monday?
Supposedly he did go through the in-game concussion protocol.
Yeah, the in-game evaluation.
Right. So, and that's why I'm saying supposedly, because it did seem like he got rushed back on the field pretty quickly. You don't see guys, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't that play happen in like the third quarter?
Happened right before halftime, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. If it happens right before halftime, you can see a guy return to the end of the game because you can use all of halftime. You can use all that time to get him back in. But to Pride's point here, it's on a short week. You got a Thursday game. You always the day before or day of have a walkthrough. So it's not even a full practice. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that on Monday, they usually do film study, or they have the day after a game, they have the day off of practice, not contact.
Yep.
So that leaves Tuesday as your only full practice. Tuesday is your only full practice, because if you do film work Monday, practice Tuesday, walk through Wednesday, game Thursday, he legit had one full practice to go through. And if someone knows the practice schedule that's watching better than I do, please let us know in the comments.
To me, that sounds pretty close.
Yeah. No, but I mean, and because that's how a lot of guys talk. They say on short weeks you only have one practice, like one legit practice.
And
you only legit get one.
Most guys that have these in concussion protocol, it usually a lot of guys it takes at least 2 weeks to get through it. You don't see many guys come back. You don't see many guys come back that next week. That's why I think that the whoever the independent doctor was and whoever that Dolphins doctor was, I think they're both going to be in some trouble because either both of them dropped the ball. Both of them dropped the ball on this somehow because there's no way it should have been listed as a back injury.
No,
and he never goes through that full concussion protocol.
So here's the part that's really interesting that I was watching the TNF post game, and they, as in the NFLPA, started their investigation. Okay, so what they do is it's going to take a couple weeks, but yesterday morning they started compiling their interview list of people that they're gonna talk to and ask questions and go through that. So that hasn't even started yet from last weekend, and now now you got Tua in this spot to where he's guaranteed got to be out at least a week or two.
I think at least 2 weeks at the minimum.
This is just me personally. I am not, and again, I am a Tua Tagovailoa fan. That is my boy. He is not playing, and I will if possible, I will fight Mike McDaniels to make this possible. Tua is not playing until the investigation is done with. I don't care how long it takes. It can take the whole year for all I care. Guess where Tua finna be? Right next to me if I'm the head coach. I am waiting for this investigation to finish. Because you already rushed this man once already. Technically twice. Because last week you should have pulled him out.
Yeah, you should never come back in the game last week.
You should have pulled him out. You didn't. Okay? So that's strike one. Strike two. This man has I don't know about y'all. That almost look like an aneurysm to me. That's the type of fear I saw. Like that looked like some legit top tier. You're in the hospital for a minimum 5 days type of weird stuff.
Yeah, that's what surprised me. He got out of the hospital last night. I couldn't believe it. I was like, damn.
And then, so it's like, for me, it's like and Chris, you said they dropped the ball. Bro, I don't think they did. Because in order to drop the ball, you've had to have the ball to begin with. They literally picked up a fumble and ran to the wrong end zone.
See, in my opinion,
this is basketball. They put up the ball in the wrong net, and they did it twice. And I got the surprise Pikachu face when they look at the scoreboard and they're losing.
My opinion, they do this investigation and it comes out that them guys done that. They should be out of the league and never be able to be on the sideline as a doctor ever again.
110%.
Yeah, I think you, Gonzo, you hit it right. I think that's what's going to happen out of this investigation. There's going to be some guys or people involved, whether it has to be going back to last week. They likely will get some sort of punishment. I don't know if it means they lose their jobs, but that's possible too. Because your goal, if you are a team physician or a third party,
jobs, because this dude could have lost his life.
Yeah, and that was my point, is that your job as an independent physician is to maintain the health and safety of the players, and the team physicians, of course, they sometimes will fudge the injury reports because well, we need this guy to play. And if you think about Mike McDaniels in his first year head coaches have they're not that their jobs are on the line right away, but it's so important to win in the NFL, and you want the best players on the field at all times. And if you think about it, that's what some of these team physicians do. You can see it happens in the NBA a lot, where they say, well, no, this guy is cleared. And then the player goes, no, I'm not good. Look at Kevin Durant, or
Kawhi Leonard.
In a weird way, you could look at Ben Simmons potentially and how he's reacting to everything. Like, the team physicians are hired by the team. These third parties are supposed to be in the best interest of the players. So I wouldn't be surprised. Somebody's probably heads are gonna roll here.
And that thing is like, I don't mind them scuffing up the stuff, right? Like, if it's like a sprained, a sprained pinky, a torn hangnail, if it's something like that, You know, oh, you got a bruise on your thigh. You got a thigh bruise. Let's just call it soreness. I'm okay with that. But it's very weird to me. Very weird. Because for all the people that want to all of a sudden now protect the NFL, imagine this. Remember when Dak Prescott's foot decided to turn the opposite way for no reason whatsoever? Imagine. Sit there and imagine with me. Imagine if the NFL, their independent doctor, said he's fine, and they try to trot him out the next week. Roger Goodell would be murdered. He would be killed. But because it's Tua, let's shield the NFL. It's the NFL's fault. They're at fault at majority too. I just want to make sure that's crystal clear before some moron who can't even spell NFL, doesn't even know what NFL means. Okay, they think the F in the NFL stands for footlong. That's the type of idiots we're thinking about here.
I thought it stood for foosball.
Okay, that's the type of people, right? So Chris, you know a few of them. You know a few of them there, right? If you're spewing that out, you know a few of them there. But I just want to make sure it is crystal clear that if you want to kill Miami, that's fine. Don't try to pretend like the NFL are heroes, because they were involved too, and they helped speed up the process, and they allowed on standby in 4 days. 4 days. They let this kid go through the concussion protocol. The final step is a full real practice. And based on the timeline, that is impossible, because it would have to happen on Wednesday.
Well, what the problem was, though, prior, they didn't put him in the protocol, so that he didn't have to go through that. That's what I'm saying. That's where the NFL and all of them even dropped the ball more, because he didn't get put in the protocol, so then they didn't test him for that stuff.
I hope and pray. Because listen, I will say this. If Tua Tagovailoa is a bum, right? If he sucks at football, he sucks at football, right? There's one rule I've always had when I talk about bums. You need to be a bum because you're a bum. You will never catch me calling Greg Oden a bum. Never. Because he wasn't a bum. He was just always hurt. You'll catch me calling Jamarcus Russell a bum because he's a bum. Okay? If Tua is a bum, I want to see him being a bum. Okay? That's it. But he's hurt, unfortunately. And again, this could potentially be the end of his career. Tua, come to New England, man. We'll treat you right. Come to New England, bro. Come to New England. We'll do. We could listen with him and Mac Jones. We could do a quarterback by committee. Tua Tagovailoa, get on over here, bro. And you and Michael McCorkle Jones, you feel me? Y'all can handle y'all business and be fine. Matter of fact, we'll throw Tua at wide receiver, and we'll interchange the ball. And then when Tua's at the quarterback, we'll throw my guy Mac Jones at tight end. That's what we gonna do. That's what we do. Come to where we respect football. You, Tua. I'm so delusional. I'm so delusional right now. I'm so delusional. This is my sales pitch to Tua. Hey, Tua, come on over, Rover. The water's fine.
I think one of the last things that I'll touch on with this subject was something I heard Ryan Fitzpatrick say throughout. They were talking about this topic, and he said that the NFL has spotters in the stands. Like, they basically have people that's their job, is they go out in the stands at different vantage points, and they say if they see something that just doesn't look right, they'll radio down and be like, hey, this guy, check on this guy.
You take this guy off the field.
Yeah. So he said that happened to him when he played for the Dolphins, and he said he didn't feel, woozy or anything out of a hit, but they saw something in the stands and they pulled him into concussion protocol. And he's like, the fact that didn't happen at all, like last week, the fact that it happened last week against Buffalo is completely suspect. And it's really weird that stuff didn't happen.
And real quick, before we move on, good looks on bringing that up, because those spotters, Like you said, that's basically their job. Who do they come from? The NFL. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
NFL.
And when the spotter tells you, you are not allowed to keep it in. Believe it or not, there is actually bylaws that if they tell you to take the player out, if it's in the middle of a play, you let the play wrap up, and then you take them out. If they have to tell you once, it's a fine. Twice, suspension. If they tell you 3 times for the same guy, that is an automatic forfeit of the game. So the fact that Mike McDaniel's head was not fined, the fact that he's not suspended, and clearly they didn't forfeit even though they played like they did, that lets you know that they did not say a single thing. And same thing with last week. After he got hit, those spotters didn't do anything. And they're there every game. And these aren't spotters. These aren't random people. They don't just go, hey, yo, Pride, you had a concussion in high school? Come on over. We'll hire you. No. These are professionals. This is their field. So it's not like they're just hiring some bums. It's not a bunch of Damians out there.
That's their one job.
You had one job. You had one job, bro. My guy looked like he's about to throw up. My guy crip walking, he's not gang affiliated. You don't think that's weird? Like, come on, man. I'm sorry, I'm done. Because I'm gonna get too deep in it, and then I'm gonna start cursing. And I'm trying to be a good guy. I'm really a good guy. I'm a great guy. I'm a phenomenal. I have my 2 kids here with me. I'm a great guy.
Yeah, we're trying to be good role models here on ASAP in the morning. But let's kind of shift focus here a little bit, because we could pound the NFL and the NFLPA all day. Mm-hmm. But let's move on a little bit to the actual game itself. So looking at so Bengals win 27-15. They improved to 2-2. Miami gets their first loss under McDaniels. But when I had messaged, I have a group chat with some friends when we're watching like football and stuff, and I'd made the comment in here, I don't understand how Miami's in games sometimes. I really don't, because they did not play well. But the score was 15 to 14 or something like that at one point. Mm-hmm. And Miami kept kicking field goal after field goal. Mm-hmm. And even with
doinking them
game, what?
And doinking them.
Oh yeah, it just
like the first field goal he missed bad. I think it was blocked, so I give him the benefit of the doubt. But that point after, when Teddy Bridgewater hit that shovel to Chase Edmonds and he got in, and the point after he doinked it, I'm like, all right, you got to get released. By the way, you said group chat. One of your group chat guys has showed up, bro.
Oh, one of them has?
Yeah.
Let me look at it's a group chat.
He just says group chat in all caps. So I'm like, he's been summoned. 100%.
Yep,
He's
been summoned. Group chat assemble. All right, just kidding. But I mean, look at how Miami played. I mean, even when Tua was in, he made some solid throws, but it just seemed like the Bengals had this game in control for a majority of the game. And one thing I look at is the Bengals have been getting torched by everybody, us, media, fans, that their offensive line has been terrible at best. Like, it has not been good. But they actually did a great job protecting Joe Burrow this game. And Burrow, this is what happens. This is what we saw last year, was when Burrow and any competent quarterback in the NFL has time in the pocket, they can read defenses, they can dissect, they can make throws. I know Burrow had 3 passes over 20 yards in this game. T. Higgins had a huge game. They made plays, and it just looked like Dolphins didn't. I know there was a different feel when Tua went out and Teddy Bridgewater went in, but Teddy did well enough to make some throws. It's just, watching this game, I kept looking at the scoreboard thinking, how is Miami in this game? Every single play, like all the momentum for most of this game was in Cincinnati's favor.
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to Miami, one thing that keeps them in games is their defense might not be the best 20-20, but their defense does a great job in the red zone of stopping teams from scoring touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing that they were able to beat Buffalo last week, even though Buffalo had over 400 yards of offense. Was you moved the ball down the field from the 20 to the 20, but you either get 3 points or you get 0 points because you go for it on fourth down and don't get it. So their defense isn't the strong. I'm going to say they're the best defense, like 20-20, but in the red zone, they've been one of the better defenses in the league.
And not only that, like another thing about Miami, like you said, it's the defense. There is a lot of bad plays that Mike McDaniel has been calling, and I'm not sure why he's getting a pass for it. I understand you have a guy, you got 2 deep threats, and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I understand that. But the play calling is becoming, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word, so I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
But nah, I'm not going to because I'm trying to work and be a good noodle. By the way, Mike, how you feeling, bro?
What's up, Mike?
No one cares. So it's crazy because, I'm butthurt right now. I'm sensitive because even though I haven't responded because I've been working like crazy lately. I know I haven't been responding, but I see the jabs you've been throwing at Boston. We got eliminated, bro. The Cubs got eliminated in opening day. Okay? So settle down.
Stay mad.
Settle down.
Stay mad.
Okay?
Cry about it.
I am mad. And I will stay mad for like 2 more minutes. I'll perhaps cry, and then after that, I'll give you a hug.
Cry about it.
So foul. But I think Mike McDaniel's play calling is rookie play calling at best. What it reminds me, Chris, you're going to love this analogy. In 4 weeks' time, watch, he will. In 4 weeks' time, you know who he's going to be? He's going to be Vince Russo.
He hates it.
He's going to be Vince Russo. Remember when Vince was with the WWF and he was just saying he had like 100 ideas, 97 of them were brain dead and you never saw, but it was 3 of them that Vince McMahon saw something in, and he took it and he gave it to the right people and they were able to do something. That's what you're going to see with Mike McDaniel. The training wheels are off. He's been calling brain dead plays ever since the beginning. Now, he's been getting by with it. This dude just wants to go deep every single time. Any play under 5 yards, he gets mad at. He wants Tua to literally go deep every time. Oh, yeah, it's triple team. It was last week while Tua's grappling with CTE, and they're having a fight. My guy is calling him out saying, yo, you saw Jalen Waddle up there? In triple coverage? You got to throw him the ball. Huh? Whose man's is this? What? Like Mike McDaniel is a Make-A-Wish kid whose last wish was to be a head coach for a season.
Oh.
I don't care.
No.
That's how he's calling it.
No.
He's calling it like an elementary school. My son would have called a better play. My son and my guy, the only words he can say right now is bye, and he waves in my face. And he only says bye to me because he don't rock with me. Feel me? But Mike McDaniels cannot call plays properly. He's been riding this momentum because obviously if they've been lucky to get by with it, and you've got talent because you got Tua, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. But if you watch him on the sideline, if he's like week 1, he loved it because he was. I'm sorry, I think it was week 2.
Yeah,
that I think both Tyreek and Jalen Waddle had over 100 yards each. He loved that because he's like, yeah, you're going to him. You're going to him. But then, like week 1, when Tua was like, "Oh, you're not open. All right, let me look at Mike a second." He was like, "Why throw it into a tight end?" He really was mad about that. In 4 weeks, this guy's going to look real bad. He is. In like 4, maybe even 5 weeks, he's going to start looking bad because he just wants the deep ball.
I think that's some of the Bengals' problem as well with protecting Joe Burrow has been their play calling, keep trying to do these long, like you're saying, go deep all the time, do these long developing routes. If you don't have an offensive line that can protect you, get the ball out of his hand quick. That was one of the problems I think the Bengals have had protecting Tua with their offensive line the first 2 or 3 games of the season.
It's brain dead, bro. He's
Yeah, there's
brain
a
dead.
couple throws last night. You could tell. Tua wanted to go deep, and even Teddy Bridgewater, when he was in, they were taking shots downfield. Just one that sticks out to me from when Tua was in was he had Tyreek Hill not wide open, but he threw it down the seam and he massively underthrew it and caused a pick.
Yep. Jesse Bates.
Yeah, it was. So that was kind of one of those things. Like, all right, was there somebody else open, or maybe because it looked like he had a clean enough pocket that he could get into that, and maybe he just didn't have.
He might have been seeing two Tyreek Hills down the field.
He had Chase Edmonds. He ran like a cute little comebacker, right up the middle.
He could have went to Edmonds underneath and he'd had a big game because there wasn't nobody there.
Yeah, because everyone was like, "Oh, you going deep? Bet," and they almost forgot Chase Edmonds was in.
Sometimes
he does a quick dump off. That's a first down, easy. But I bet Tua's like, "Oh, he wants me to go deep."
Yeah, I'll never give Tua a pass. I'll never give Miami a pass. I don't got love for them. I do got love for Waddle. That's my baby. But I do think I'll give Tua this when it comes to looking at Edmonds or looking at guys that are in front of him. Half the time, I don't think he could see him. I don't. I think there's so many guys in his face that he can't see him half the time. That offensive line is Pride. I know you're looking at me sideways, but they don't give this kid time at all. So half the time, I agree with Pride. I think he just chucks it up because it's like, one, your coach is gonna bitch you out if you don't, and two, that's all that's out there. It's fuck it, Tyreek's out there somewhere. I mean, that's what it is.
Waddle's out there.
Both
Waddle is out there.
They're both out there.
Waddle that's out there.
They're both out there.
But I think that, and to your guys' point, that's something like Dolphins. The Dolphins finished with under 100 rushing yards yet again in this week. Mozart had 69 yards.
Nice.
But the thing that I look at here is that's part of play calling. But I think what part of what did the Dolphins in is when you can't run the football effectively, you get yourself into some third and long situations. The Dolphins were 2 for 10 on third down in this game. They only averaged under 4 yards a carry, which, I mean, the Bengals didn't really do much better.
You only gave Mostert 15 carries as well. I mean, you got to run the ball to be able to.
I think that's pretty solid for Mostert, but I think Edmonds needs to get more.
Yeah.
I think that's
yeah. And
that's what they got to get more attempts. I don't think.
Yeah, I think 15 is a pretty solid number for the both of them.
Yeah, like 15 apiece.
15 apiece.
I think you're solid because think about it. Now, guess what? You're opening stuff up because. And by the way, I am not smart. I'm not. All right, Mike, you know this. I'm brain dead. Okay.
Facts.
I got the IQ of a rotted corn in the middle of winter.
But they let this man drive a bus of the youth. I have no idea.
Yes, sir. So hide your kids. Okay. I know nothing of what I'm talking about.
Walk your kids to school.
And guess what? 100% up and over the hill, far away. But guess you know what I would have done? Something real simple. Establish the run. If you want to go deep, play action. I'm not even a head coach.
Yeah, I would do a bunch of RPOs and stuff with Tua, but
I'm not even a head coach.
You could even do that with Teddy, but
if we're gonna keep it a beam,
I do think him
and Teddy are the same.
I think McDaniel's play calling looked a lot better with Teddy, just because when I saw with Tua, they weren't running the ball at all. I think before Tua went out, Mostert had like 3 carries, if that, and then he was forced to rush the ball because Teddy obviously he's limited at some points, but it's something I think. It forces him to, like Pride said, actually try to be a head coach and look at every single aspect of the game. With Tua, it's just you want this kid to get the deep ball down so bad that you force it down his throat. Nagy literally did the same thing with Trubisky, and that's why why we did what we did. But
same thing.
It reminds me a lot of that. I like McDaniel a lot more. I think he's kind of more open about it just because I hated Nagy's personality. But when you look at what they're doing, it's the same thing.
No, it's insane.
There's better weapons, of course.
It to me, bro. It's just brain dead, bro. Like his coaching is horrible. He's like, oh, I go deep, like that. That's all he wants to do. But the sad thing about it, there's no setup. There's no setup. At least with the Chiefs, yeah, sure, they didn't run the ball, but you know what the setup was? They went shallow first. They picked when they went deep. When they went deep, it made sense. And when Andy Reid would draw up these deep plays, he always had, at the bare minimum, 2 guys underneath as a security blanket. So no matter who's deep, it doesn't matter who you are. If you are not open for whatever reason, whether it was Tyreek and McCall Hardman, whether it was Tyreek and Travis Kelce, whether on the rarity, Josh Gordon and Travis Kelce, didn't matter who it was. Whoever was deep, there was 2 guys low and gave Patrick Mahomes an out. It was the running back, and if Travis Kelce wasn't running deep, he was running shallow, or they had an extra receiver out. They always had 2 guys under. Brain dead McDaniels can't do that. I don't know what it is, man. There's a thing about the last name McDaniels. You're a solid offensive coordinator, but can't coach for doo-doo. I don't know what it is with that last name, because Mike McDaniels, I've been saying this from the jump, and no one wanted to listen to me. Lo and behold, we're having this conversation. What a time to be alive. I said Mike McDaniels gonna get exposed real quick because he just wants that deep ball. Once that deep ball ain't there, coaching is out of his vocabulary. And Josh McDaniels got Devontae Adams, won't target him. Change the subject, bro. I'm about to throw my son. That's how tight I am, bro. I'm about to throw him. You want to fly? Just throw him.
So I think part of what also did the Dolphins in the second half, let's say Cincinnati had 5 drives. The 6th drive was the kneel downs to end the game. But in 5 drives, they had 2 field goals and a touchdown. So if you're Miami's defense, you've got it. Yeah, you held them to 2 field goals, and you were talking about the play calling and kind of what that looks like with Bridgewater in instead of Tua. But on defense, you can't turn the ball over on offense and then give up touchdowns on defense. And that's what happened near the end of the game. But looking ahead for Miami, let's safely assume that Tua is out for minimum, what we talk, 2 or 3 weeks at least.
Probably.
Right. All right. Let's just say 3 weeks. All right. Let's say he's out for 3 weeks. Miami's next 3 games at the Jets and then home against the Vikings and home against the Steelers. How much confidence do you have in Miami without Tua at quarterback over the next few weeks?
You said on Mike McDaniel, so they might lose to the Jets.
If Zach plays, it's definitely possible.
I'm just keeping it a bean, bro. I'm keeping it a bean. Now, is he going to change his coaching style? And on top of that, too, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think Teddy Bridgewater can negate Mike McDaniels a little bit. I really think he can. Because I think he's smart enough to understand I'm not going to go deep. Right?
And Teddy's not going to take the chances.
Right. I think he'll be smart. So if Mike McDaniels comes and yells at him, I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to play with this. Dog, you going to bet me Tua comes back anyway. So on some realness, you can't tell me nothing. My guy is playing with invincibility. As long as he's not going out there and passing the ball for under 55% with 4 interceptions and 0 touchdowns type of thing, as long as he's not playing that bad, Mike McDaniels can't take him out.
Yeah, I mean, he's Teddy check down at the end of the day. Like, Teddy's going to do his thing, and Teddy's not going to force a ball in the triple coverage. Like, that's just right. That's not his game. That's not who he is. Now, I will say this, Pride, and me and you have killed other guys for it too, so I have to keep it a bean. As much as I do agree, like, the play calling isn't great, at the end of the day, Tua is the one that is throwing in the triple coverage. So, I mean,
you're right.
With a rookie head coach, you ain't about to bitch me like that. You ain't about to make me look bad.
But you got to remember, though, and this
I feel you, but at the end of the, you know what I mean? End of the day, the game on the line.
I feel you. I would be with you if Tua felt wanted, because let's keep it a beam. Miami been trying to get rid of him ever since before they drafted him.
No, I feel that.
They've been trying to trade Tua since this kid was born.
Well, no, I agree. The thing is, the head coaches have been trying to trade him. The organization itself holds on to him pretty dearly.
But if you think, if you kind of look at, all right, so yes, over through the first couple seasons, Tua's been the topic of, is he the guy? But if you look at the first couple weeks, Miami has 2 guys in Waddle and Hill, both having over 300 yards each receiving through the first couple of weeks. That's the most of any duo in the NFL.
Yeah,
so
top 5 right now.
Even if they're trying to, even if McDaniels is calling plays to, hey, just chuck it deep, I would argue that McDaniels is actually trying to show like, hey, everyone's got these doubters, these doubts about Tua. I'm going to show him that he can sling it. And then he calls these plays, and now he's going out and doing said game plan. So we've been talking about him more in a positive manner this year than we have in the past. So that's what I would say, just to kind of argue that is.
Oh no,
I think McDaniels has actually tried to unlock Tua.
We can argue.
Yeah, but you want to win games, or you want to keep winning games, or
I'm not even going that route, Chris. I'm not even going that route because you said he wants to unlock and open the door. Unfortunately for Mike McDaniels, not only did he unlock and open the door, he broke it, so now flies are in the house. Because maybe if Tua was allowed to occasionally throw the ball a little shallower than usual, maybe, just maybe, we're having a completely different conversation.
Probably not.
Definitely. Well, actually, no. Y'all would still be hating on Tua. Y'all would find something else. Oh, wait, his shoelaces are 2 different colors? Kill him. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Cancel.
Hey, I've been acknowledging how well he's been playing this season so far. I'll admit that too.
Is he a good quarterback?
I wouldn't put him in the top 10.
No, I'm not saying put him in the top 10. That's not what I'm saying.
I think he's a good quarterback.
That's it. You're just saying he's good. I'm not saying top 10.
Okay, you're going that route.
He's not great. I mean,
yes, I'm not saying he's great.
He's good. Yes, he's not great.
He's good, but he's good. He's a solid, respectable starter in the NFL. That's all I want to hear from y'all.
Yeah, there are starters way worse than him. So yes, I will say he's a good quarterback.
Whisper in my ear. I don't want to know what I'm doing with this camera off.
I'm just saying. Oh, I already know. I can hear the. I don't want to say. You don't understand. I've been on this free Tua bandwagon. It's not even a bandwagon. I'm by myself. The only other people on this bandwagon that saying free Tua are Miami Dolphins fans that feel like they're obligated because that's their quarterback.
You're driving the bus by yourself,
Chris. Not only am I driving the bus, I'm insuring it. I upgraded it. I put nice rims on it, and then I painted it, bro. I did everything, and I FaceTime Tua. I said, Tua, what you think about it? Like, I've been riding deep. So for finally, the men who have tried to slander the name of Tua Tagovailoa,
relax.
More so you, Mike, because you've been slandering this man ever since he had on Pampers.
Yep.
It feels so great for you guys to acknowledge the fact he's not top 10. I'm not going that far. But he's a very respectable starter in the league.
Would you say that Damien's on point here with Tua is better than Mac Jones then, Fried?
Remember earlier how when I said Tua come on over to New England? Remember when I said that whole shtick? Notice how I didn't say we would trade Mac Jones. I said he'll play with Mac Jones. That lets you know the answer to that question. I love Tua Tagovailoa, but Mo Kraft macaroni and cheese Michael McCorkle Jones. No, he ain't him. Tua good. Oh, Mac Jones great. Mac Jones top 10 in the league, bro. I didn't mean that. Damn, I can't. Woo! Wow, man.
You're going down the Ryan Tannehill road.
Man, dog. I'll never live that down, huh?
Still eating that one. Still eating that one to this day. Every Sunday, you get reminded of that one.
Every day. Yo, Craig. I don't know what happened. Did I tell you the story about the whole Ryan Tannehill thing?
I don't think so.
So
I was tight.
This was last year?
Yep.
And I genuinely believe last year, at the time, we were like in the middle-ish of the season, probably entering the end of it. So you had plenty enough time to say. I said
Joe Burrow was better than Tannehill, and you got mad.
No, I didn't get mad for that.
And then
that's not why I got mad.
It was about week 7, and I was like, Burrow's better than Tannehill. And then it turned into like a whole thing. And then going in.
I said no, because you said that. I said in my opinion, it was close. So I said, I mean, you could take whoever. They got mad at me, and then I said, well, Ryan Tannehill's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Triggered.
And everyone got mad at me.
Yep.
Mind you, I'm not messaging defending my opinion. And it was weird. What got me tight was I was saying he was a top 10 quarterback at the time, and Mofos was bringing up his Miami days. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about him right here, right now. And I remember I spat out my top 10. I remember I went to get Chinese food. I was parked outside the restaurant, and I hit send. I put my phone in the car, and I did not answer back. I put the 10, and I got my food. Went back in the car, went home, and I ate. Mind you, my phone is tweaking the whole time. Like, my phone was tweaking. And I'm just like, 30 minutes. I don't care. And I ate. I felt good. You ever had a full stomach and you feel ready to attack the day? That was me. I was like, I'm ready to dive back into this group chat. And I scroll up all the way. And I actually scrolled too far. So I start rereading what I was saying. And I was just like, what was I on? I'm like, hey, yo, what am I talking about? What am I doing? And I was so tight. I muted the chat for Mike. What was it, like 4 days?
It was a minute.
It was like 4 or 5 days that I refused to speak.
I think Pride muted himself.
Yes.
Pride muted himself the first time, and then what was it, the wild card or the divisional round, whatever round it was, that happened, and then I didn't hear from Pride until the Super Bowl.
No, I was still there.
Me and you hadn't talked till the Super Bowl. It was a minute.
Well, because you were never around. Nah, because he talked about it was the divisional where we got destroyed by Buffalo. We got destroyed. I remember in the group chat, I said, look, if Buffalo don't score 50, I'm considered that a win.
Right.
I was like, I'm calling that a win if they don't score 50. Like, they scored on every single drive except for the last drive where they knelt it. I was sad. Damien said Tua over Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, Wentz, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Mitchell Trubisky, and Justin Fields. Tua over Jimmy G, yes. Matt Ryan, definitely.
I wouldn't say he's better than Derek.
No way. No shot.
I wouldn't say he's better than Cousins either.
He's not. I don't think he's better than Kirk Cousins.
I think depends on the day. If it's Monday Night Football, he's better than Cousins.
Oh, you're right. You got it. Mitchell Trubisky, yes, he is.
Yes.
And Justin Fields, I mean, yes.
Justin's in his own.
I don't know what's going on in Chicago.
He's got problems going on.
Yo, it's like they looked at the Ravens. It was like, okay, let's turn you into Lamar, because he don't throw. You don't. You just
no. That's why you're wrong though. If you look at it statistically, you'd be like, oh, he must be running. He's not. No, he's just handing the ball off. He's not doing anything.
I've seen him run.
No.
Yeah.
He hasn't cleared 50 yards yet in our game.
Nah, you're capping.
I'm not capping.
I need to look this up now. I mean,
no
shot.
We ran the ball. We ran the ball over 200 yards last game. So I mean, like,
time. Yeah, I think it was like the first time.
I'm not bitching about it, but I'm just saying the kid's underutilized.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Like I said, either make him Lamar or don't. I don't care, but just do something.
He's make him Lamar now. Don't do that now.
I'd rather have Lamar.
Well, all right. Let's see. So far this year,
telling you,
in 3 games, he's 2-1.
Damien's choosing violence this morning. He says 2 over Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, Wentz, Carr, Cousins, Trubisky, and unfortunately Justin Fields.
He's only thrown the ball 45 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not even giving him a chance to see what he can do.
What a bum.
Nah, I just hate Luke Getsy, bro. They hired somebody.
What a bum. This kid's a bum.
They hired somebody who's never been an offensive coordinator to be the offensive coordinator, and it's showing really bad.
What a bum. This kid is a bum.
I guess.
You can guess. I know. 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was lit. That was week 1. Week 2, 70 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. Houston, 106 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. What a bum.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Jamarcus Russell. He's a skinny Jamarcus Russell. Get this man out of here. And I thought this kid was going to be great. What a bum. Look at his head. He got a weird shaped head.
He does. But I think he's going to be solid. I think it's
solid.
bad. It's such a. You know what I found out, Pride? Can I give you some numbers that you'll actually be proud of me? I did some homework.
I did some homework.
I did some homework.
Oh, we love it when Mike Hughes does homework.
The tight end of the future, Cole Cinderblock Hands Komet, has been blocking 85% of the time.
Yep, which is brain dead.
Byron Pringle is out. The second round draft pick wide receiver has been out. N'Keal Harry, Pride, say it for me, dog shit. And you look at Darnell Mooney, who went from 1,000 yards to somebody who couldn't create separation if he had a 5-foot stick. I mean, the kid's got nothing. The kid's got nothing to throw to. And worst of all, again, like I said, Craig, you weren't here, but I was screaming it, bro. Pride saw me red in the face. White boys get really red. I know Gonzo knows. White boys get really red when they're mad. And when I found out we didn't hire Brian Dable and we hired another defensive coordinator, which I love, Matt. Got love for Matt. Matt's a dog. I love Matt. He's great at what he does, but wrong place. Wrong place for this. And then you hired Luke Getsy, who was the wide receivers coach. And get this, Craig, guess what? We don't have wide receivers. So cool.
To see it.
And so, like, I hear you, Pride. I hear you. I'm not going to sit here and say he hasn't been dog shit. He's been dog shit. But when I look at it for what it is, I'm like, I'm not going to do what everybody did to Mitch and be like, yo, this is you. I'm going to say, yo, listen. Now,
You just tried to do the same thing to Tua.
I don't understand why these coaches.
You literally did the same thing to Tua, and now you want to give Justin, I can't. I suck, so let me get him off the field?
No. I'm telling you this, and I've always said this about Tua. That man can't stay healthy. That's why I don't rock with Tua.
So we got one guy that can't stay healthy and another guy that can't stay good.
I'd rather have the guy that sucks than the guy. Hey, man, listen. The best.
Smoker, so you rocking with Tim Tebow?
Man, at tight end, give me that boy. Because my other tight end sucks.
By the way, I just want to clarify one thing. I said that he was Russian. 27 rushes for 95 yards.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. He's not. No.
Yeah,
he's not.
He's pounding the rock like Adrian Peterson was. I think his second to last year in Minnesota.
Yeah. It don't make no sense. These NFL teams do it all the time. Like Mike was talking about, you hire a defensive coach, and then you go hire. You put a new guy, an offensive coordinator. If you're going to have a defensive coach, go get you an experienced offensive coordinator to develop your young quarterback.
And for me, it was like, it just didn't make sense. They were like, oh, well, he worked with Aaron Rodgers. And I was like, so did Nathaniel Hackett. So I don't.
And can I say something about that real fast? Do I have time, Craig? I just want to make sure I got time.
Real quick.
Okay. So we got to stop acting like the guys who worked with these all-time great quarterbacks are geniuses. Yeah, we got to pump the brakes. Like, just because you worked with Tom Brady doesn't mean you're a genius. Like Tom Brady could make me look great.
Right. And just because I worked with Freddie Henderson doesn't mean I'm going to steal everybody's money. You know what I mean?
Can we go to the next?
Do we have commercials? Can we get a commercial?
What happened?
Craig, what's next, Craig?
What happened?
What happened?
Hey, let's talk about something more positive here. Let's change our focus.
Empire Sports.
We're gonna have a lawsuit on our hands.
Oh no, that's cool. You want more of my money? Cool.
All right, let's change focus and talk about the NFL weekend slate. To talk about what games. So I guess everybody's individual teams. So Mike, I want to start with you since we're talking about Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago at the New York Giants Sunday at 1:00. What does Chicago need to do to win on the road?
Die. I think it's everybody's saying this is going to be our fourth win of the season, which would be our third win of the season. Sorry,
come on,
not bad. Let me relax. Hey, but I mean, shit, 3-1 wouldn't be. I mean, where's Nate? But it's something to where I really think this is Brian Dable's game. I think this is Brian Dable's game. I don't think he's salty he didn't get the Bears job. But the fact that they didn't even really have him in person for interview, they called this man on the phone and asked him if he wanted the job. Like, I feel like Brian Dable's going to run up the board. I feel like it's going to be a great game for him. I'm on the Dable train. Bears need wide receivers. Bears need God. But it's something, I think at the end of the day, in order to win this game, you got to continue doing what you're doing. I don't know the status of David Montgomery. I haven't really said that. He's just day-to-day right now. He had that knee injury in the first quarter, and he left. So we'll see what happens with that. But Khalil Herbert had 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. That kid is an absolute animal. We got mad love for Juice over there. But, Justin needs to be Justin, and I need to see Darnell Mooney do something for the first time all season because you had over 1,000 yards last year, and right now you had -4 against Green Bay, and I believe less than 5 catches in 3 games. So I need this kid to start getting open. I need this kid to start actually looking towards Justin. I need Justin to look towards him because I'm going to put it on Justin too. Justin said in postgame, I played like shit, and I know I did, but there's a difference between knowing you did and doing something about it.
Doing it again. Bum.
Yeah, like it's fine. If you acknowledge it, it's fine, but build upon that. Don't just settle with shit. So I think, it's definitely going to be, down to the wire of battle of the bad offenses, but we'll see what happens.
Pride, you and the New England Patriots.
They're playing the Packers, bro.
What's that?
We're playing the Packers.
Yeah, you got Packers in Green Bay. What does New England need to do to pull off the W?
Hoyer time, baby.
In Green Bay.
We need a time
Hoyer
machine.
Quarterback.
We need a time machine to go back in time to make sure Mac Jones doesn't get hurt. Like, that's really it, dog. Like, if
you guys have a better chance with Hoyer on the bench and not playing a quarterback.
Bro, we'd have a better chance with Hoyer not being on a roster, not on a bench. Like, this is no disrespect to Brian Hoyer, but Brian Hoyer dog shit. Like, that's why he's a career
between
backup.
your backup quarterbacks, though, you got Brian Hoyer and I don't even know who the third guy is. You would
the
pick
kid
the
that we
other guy?
drafted, Zach.
Oh yeah,
Zapey, whatever his name, Goofy. Like, but good thing we got Cole Strange in the first round. Fuck me, man. I'm just again. I'm rocking deep, man. I'm sorry for cursing.
You made an hour and a half without dropping the F-bomb, man. An hour and a half. You're doing good.
Dude, I was doing so good, man. But it's
You were
Cole
doing so
Strange
good.
that gets me every time. I just can't, bro. Like, and by the way, you said we need Stenham back. No, we don't. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. It's really gonna come down. We're gonna have to. Frankly, if we want any chance, I don't think we're winning. But if we want any chance, we're gonna need to look at the Browns playbook. Because we do have a solid 1-2 punch in terms of running the ball. We really do. And if we can kind of replicate a little bit on about what the Cleveland Browns are doing, we'll have something of a chance, right? Pound the ball, work the clock, keep it to a minimum. Brian Hoyer's not really going to throw the ball much. Let's keep it a bean. I mean, you feel me? But, I mean, I will say this, though. Matt Jones, do me a favor, bro. Take your time. Do not beat it. You saw what happened when a dude tries to play through it. You already saw what happened. You saw Tua Tagovailoa go down. Do not force your way back. I understand the Patriots organization is trying to rush him to come back. Mac Jones, you tell them, mamalo por atrás. That means suck it from the back. That's what you're going to tell him. You're going to look at Bill Belichick, and you're going to call him William. We're going to call him by his legit name. You're going to like, look here, William, sit down. No matter of fact, y'all watch SpongeBob?
I used to a long time ago.
Remember Squidward's arch nemesis, Squilliam? We're calling him Squilliam. You're going to sit down. You're going to be like, look here, Squilliam. All right? I ain't playing until I feel like it, Mamalo. And leave. We're going to lose. It's fine. Matt Jones is probably going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. We're going to finish under 500. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
You say you're finishing under 500 this year?
We probably will. Because
bro, just double checking. Because I got roasted. I know Mac Jones is hurt, but I got roasted for saying that a few weeks ago.
Yes, you did. And by the way, you also got roasted for your take on the Cardinals. What other take did you have that I roasted you that is like coming back and haunting me tenfold? Because I can't even watch football football anymore without being like, I hate this guy. I hate this guy. I hate this guy. Yo, Chris, when we were doing our predictions, bro, on the divisions,
Yep.
Craig is hitting it on the head, and I'm looking at him like, I don't know, man. And now it's making me question my football IQ. I'm convinced I have the IQ of a rotted tree stump, bro. It's buck wild, bro. But yeah, no, we're gonna finish under 500. Now that Mac Jones is gone, bro, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. What's up, Mike?
Do you think, bro? This is a safe space, bro. You can hold my hand for
this.
Do
I think? No, I don't think.
No. It's okay. We can do this together. All right. So we put my wide receivers, right? And your wide receivers together. Do we have a top 10 wide receiver core? Still no, right? Still no.
No.
Still
because
no.
our second best wide receiver is Nelson Aguilar.
And
by the way,
you got.
By the way, can I? No, I don't want to say it.
My second best is the one that couldn't make your roster. So I mean,
so we're kind of screwed. So we're kind of screwed right now. So
kind of rough.
I will say New England's done well of being able to run the football, which has obviously been now that since Brady's gone, they've been kind of developing more around the run, and their defense has been playing decently well too. So you do have a chance against the Packers because it's just the Packers. I don't really know what to expect from them because they really don't have wide receivers, but they use dual running backs. Their defense is still fairly strong. So that's going to be an interesting game for sure. It's going to be on 425 and CBS. But Gonzo, let's go to you. Indy hosting the Titans, divisional game, 1:00 in Indy. How confident are you in this game? I should say, how confident are you in Matt Ryan and company? And what does Indy got to do to beat Tennessee?
Ryan Tannehill torching them.
Yeah,
Oh no! For the Colts beat Tennessee, they got first thing they got to stop Derrick Henry. They got to stop Derrick Henry and make Tannehill throw the ball to beat you. They can do, I think they'll have a good chance. And our offensive line has to start. Our offensive line has to continue playing better. They played a little bit better last week. Hopefully that keeps improving. But the defense is going to have to play physical like they did against the Chiefs. And they're going to have to, if they can stop Derrick Henry, force Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball to beat you because Tennessee really don't have a number one receiver right now anymore on that roster. So they're kind of the same as the Colts. We really don't have any great receivers either.
Right, shitty.
Yeah, bro, I'm tight right now. By the way, Balake Griffin is signing a 1-year deal with the Celtics, so they won our championship run.
But no, and it's a big game. This is almost a must-win for the Colts. I know it's early in the season, but our next 3 games, two of our next 3 games are division games. So 5 of our first 7 games this season are division games, and we've already tied 1 division game and lost 1 division game. So we can't afford to lose another division game to Tennessee this weekend. So being at home, coming off that big win last week, hopefully they come out, play physical. But I think the key is stopping Derrick Henry, and the offensive line has to keep improving.
Yeah, let me go back. Let me see. Who did I pick to win that game? Because I'm about to switch it to Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, you want to do it again? All right, fine.
I'll do it again. Yo, these last I actually do got Ryan Tannehill over the Colts, so I'm good. Man, like, dog, I'm horrible. I've been trying to predict the stuff, and I'm at 20 and 28 right now. So like I'm like dog water, but I'm doubling down. I'm committing. Bro, we got Blake Griffin. Why? My God, I don't know.
That move's not really going to do a whole lot for you,
bro. It sends us back, bro. Why couldn't he pull the Ime Udoka, bro? Could have gotten him.
He'd still be playing. What are you talking about?
For someone else, though. Who could have? Oh my God, I just hate him.
So the Lions have the Seahawks this weekend at home.
If y'all don't win by 2 touchdowns, bro, your season is a failure. Your season is a failure.
So here's what I'm looking at with the Lions. So the Lions are one of the top scoring offenses in the league. They're one of only a handful of teams that have scored over 90 points through 3 weeks. However, they've also given up, I think, what is it, the most points in the league? Take out Miami's from last weekend. So they've given up the most points in the NFL through 3 weeks at 93. So the Lions they do have they have the number 3 rushing offense. And they have a middle of the road passing offense, but defensively, they're still bottom half of the league. Passing, rushing, all defensive categories, still not good. And now it's been announced just literally 20 minutes ago, Amon-Ra St. Brown is out for week 4. DeAndre Swift could be out until week 7. Lions are losing at home. That's not going to be, I don't think it's really going to be even, it's going to be a fairly close game, I think, because usually that's what the Lions' MO is. But I think they're going to, they need to step up. The defense has to step up and force Geno Smith to make mistakes.
Right.
If they can't do that, they're going to get blown out.
Bro, Geno Smith makes his own mistakes.
So you think Seattle's going to blow the Lions out?
I was about to say, like, Geno
possible.
Smith makes his own mistakes just lacing his cleats up, bro.
I said
He puts his right cleat on his left foot.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I said I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Lions lose because they're missing two of their top offensive weapons, and on defense they can't stop anybody.
Is
Smith will stop himself.
Jameson back yet, though?
No, Jameson won't be back until at least they haven't given a timeline, but they're expecting well after week 10.
Jameson Williams is the wide receiver they took number 12 overall, and he's a stud. He's a stud. I'm really excited to get him and Amon-Ra together. I mean, they're going to have a great offense. They really are.
I agree. I think if everyone's healthy, that's big, but Swift getting his injury at week 2 and then trying to play through at week 3, he needs to sit. Amon-Ra's having an ankle injury this last week. Like, they're just already injuries are piling up for the Lions, which is not a good sign when you're trying to fight out of a 3-13 hole last year.
Craig, I'm gonna need you to respect my boy Jamal Williams, though. I mean, I think.
Hey, I love Jamal Williams. He's
against Seattle. It's gonna be a big day. 100%.
I'm hoping so.
100%.
I'm hoping so.
And you still got Hawk out there too. So I think if you got TJ Hawkinson like me on fantasy right now, we're back, baby. We're back.
Hawkinson has someone's got to fact check me. Hawkinson's probably got the most drops in the league right now.
Yeah, he's insane.
He's been complete, as Pride says, complete doo-doo.
100%.
He's been complete doo-doo. He's not been very good.
Yeah, he's killing me in fantasy.
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of confidence in the Lions this weekend.
Wow.
Our first couple weeks, hey, we've been riding high. Man, it's been good. Just DeAndre Swift looks really good. Amon-Ra's good. We got the hope that, we got Jameson Williams coming down the pipeline. We got some of our offensive line coming back eventually. And now that a lot of them are out, it's like, okay, let's come back down to earth. But the one thing I think that's the most surprising to me is, or I guess unsurprising for most, the Lions are sitting at the bottom of the division, 1-2. I'm very surprised the Chicago Bears are 2-1, but hey, credit to them. You got to play who you're in front of.
Talk to me, baby.
You got to play who's in front of you. The Lions should have beaten Minnesota last week. Bad coaching decisions did them in, and I think that plays into it too. If right now Dan Campbell is still learning how to make those crunch time calls, he needs someone to take those powers away from him in crunch time and make decisions for him, because he's not been doing well with it.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
You need to hire somebody like Hackett did.
Yeah, I mean, not for offensive play calling, but I'm saying in crunch time.
No, Hackett hired a guy just for strategy during games to help him with just the game management.
Dan Campbell should be listening.
They added that last week.
I'll tell you what. My offensive coordinator used to hold Aaron Rodgers' jockstrap for a living, so I don't want to hear that, Craig. Craig Lee, I don't want to hear that, sir. And I think nobody could tell you who's calling plays in New England, and they're still winning games, so I don't want to hear it, sir. I do not want to.
I'm being a little realistic with the Lions here, but
can I ask you something, Craig?
What's that?
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
So end of the season, bro. End of the season. You got all these draft picks for the future. You got Jared Goff that makes the salary work. You trade for Lamar Jackson?
No.
I think it's a conversation. You have to have the conversation.
God.
But I think there's a lot of things that go into play when you're talking about trading. It depends on A, what I'm giving up, B, what his contract is going to look like, because you got to take that into account. If he's already got a contract extension or something signed, then obviously I don't think he's going to get moved. But if you make the trade for him, you have to sign him to a long-term deal. And I don't think that's in the best interest of the Detroit Lions because they're building something really good. It's going to be a conversation, but I
think
this
you
point,
guys,
right?
if you guys miss out, like if you guys, let's say by some way that you guys get 6-7 wins and you miss out on a Bryce Young or a CJ, I think it's a conversation.
Trade?
Yeah, I would agree.
No.
It's a conversation. We're not saying it's going to happen.
No, it's not a conversation at all. It's not a conversation at all.
I mean, if Baltimore don't pay him, it is.
No, it's not because no. When you're franchise tagged, you can't get traded.
100%, but he hasn't been franchise tagged.
Not yet.
He's okay. You're saying at the end of this season,
right? We're saying that
he gets franchise tagged after this season.
Yeah, but we're saying is in that window between the season and in if or when he gets franchise tagged, that you can still trade for. I think it would be a conversation in they have a lot of confidence in Jared Goff.
You're not trading for him because you only believe in white males that are
100%.
4.
100%.
That's why you're not trading for him.
100%. 100%.
All right. So that topic of Lamar Jackson, actually, there's one game that none of us are affiliated with that I'm really looking forward to this weekend, and it is Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Buffalo Bills Sunday, 1:00. What are you guys like? I'm very intrigued for this game. I'm going to be trying to figure out a split screen so I can watch both games.
Right.
But Damian, that's come on.
Just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes.
Oh,
you
know can't get traded because he doesn't have an agent. That
7.
has nothing to do with whether you
answer
traded.
to Damian's question. 7. That's moving on.
7's the answer to that.
I'm just saying, if I'm Detroit, I think there's a few other quarterbacks you can get for cheaper that would fit your timeline a little better.
See, but when you've never even been to Craig, respectfully, when you've never even been to a Super Bowl, you can't. You got to at one point you got to be like, all right, fuck this. Like we're going.
Well, yeah, but even for Lamar, I still wouldn't.
Like, look at their team though. Look at their team though. And let's be real, Pride. We're gonna run it down. Amon-Ra, rookie deal.
You're missing the point, Mike. You're missing the point. I'm not like the big point when I say cheap. I'm not referring to money. I'm referring to what you got to give up for Lamar.
I'd give it up.
Okay, you're going to give it up and be in the same position you were with Matthew Stafford. That's the problem. That's why I'm not trading for Lamar if I'm them, because you have to give up Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you're going to have to give up DeAndre Swift. Those two are
you wouldn't have to.
Yes, for Lamar, for Lamar Jackson.
I think you, if anything, you maybe give up Swift.
Chris. Am I smoking, Chris?
No, I think
because
that you have to give up your weapons.
They'll be fine with Tyler Hunt.
All right, so answer me this, bro. Answer me this and keep it a stack. They really just didn't give Noah Fant and Drew Lock for Russell Wilson.
Thank you.
The market is there. It's not that high.
It's all about.
Hold on. It's
all about the pick.
That's a different conversation.
How?
I'm explaining to you why it's a different conversation. I'm explaining it to you.
Go ahead.
Because at the end of the day, who was the only legitimate suitor who was going for Russell Wilson?
That's okay. Who's going?
No. But you can't say that.
Well, there'll be a lot of teams that would be interested in Lamar.
Thank you, Christopher. The thing is with the Broncos. The Broncos really were.
Colts better be interested in Lamar if he comes available.
Yeah, the Broncos really were the only team. There were other teams that were kind of pawing it. But after the trade, we found out the Broncos really were the only team legitimately interested. That's why the Seahawks had to settle for Noah Fant and Drew Lock. You think they wanted them? They had no choice. They had to settle because they were like, if we're not going to keep him. So they had to settle. The difference with Lamar, if your quarterback is not a top 10 quarterback, you're going for Lamar.
100%. But what I'm telling you,
and Lamar's younger.
This is why I brought it up, and this is why it's my main point. When you look at the Colts, and Chris can agree with me too, you cannot afford it financially to make Lamar the highest paid quarterback. You can't. When you look at all these teams, that these top 10 teams in the league that could definitely use Lamar, you can't. The Chicago Bears could, because we literally signed fans to be players. So that's perfectly fine. Whatever, not even getting into that. But right now, what I was saying was, when you look at Amon-Ra and Swift and Williams and Penei Sewell, who is going to get a fucking bag one day.
The thing is,
You
you're
look
going to
at all
lose
these
some
guys.
of those guys.
You're not.
Who do you guys think they would lose in
I think
a trade?
you
for,
obviously
Jackson?
you obviously lose Goff. I think that's an obvious, but that just to make salaries match. But you lose Goff, and I think honestly you probably lose one guy other than that. And I don't think it's going to be crazy. I think
So
it's all picks.
And this is the part that blows my mind. Yeah, deep throat Lamar Jackson, but in the same token, yeah, they go undercut him. That you're telling me the Ravens will go, yeah, let's take Jared Goff and I don't know, who's your fourth string wide receiver? Are we serious?
No. So think
I'm
about
a
this,
Lamar
Pride.
Jackson fan.
Pride, hang on. Think about this.
I'm thinking.
Whenever there's big trades like this, you can use that argument about the Broncos and Russell Wilson. But what was the biggest bargaining chip for that trade? All the draft picks. That's what teams look for with these big trades. And you have to talk about the money aspect.
Right.
Lamar Jackson getting traded before he signs a big deal, he's still. Can someone see what his yearly salary is right now?
I think it's something around 20 mil.
Okay, so let's say 20 million, just for argument's sake. You are not going to be able to make the money work and match up to give up all those weapons that you talk about, Pride, because the Lions aren't going to do it, and you're going to have to throw in someone who makes a lot of money, a la Jared Goff has to be involved.
But no, because what are they going to end up doing? They do this is what teams do to make that like the easy counterpoint. Guess what they're going to do? Sign Lamar to a record-breaking deal.
100%.
And
that's what the Ravens are going to do that so that way they can finesse everything from Detroit. And if I'm Detroit, I'm not going to do that.
Well, what I'm saying is that if that contract signing happens with Baltimore, this is not even a conversation.
Our conversation is you trade Lamar and he's instantly signed by the Detroit Lions.
Correct. That's what we're saying.
All right, my big thing and what I'm trying to say is, like, you look at any trade in the NFL, 9 times out of 10, it's not a blockbuster trade like in the NBA or in the MLB. There are really, for the most part, there's only one-sided of what players are involved. Usually the other side isn't getting equal value. It's just not. The Bears got Khalil Mack for not a single player.
You're looking at a different conversation because at the time Khalil Mack didn't want to be there anymore.
Doesn't matter, bro. If Lamar says he doesn't want to be there unless he's paid X amount of dollars, then Lamar doesn't want to be in Baltimore. And that's
Chris, what they're doing, they're basically pretending in a perfect world. The reality of the situation, it will not be a perfect world because there's too many variables. The instant anyone wants to trade for Lamar Jackson, the Ravens are going to say, we're going to sign him to this deal. Yes, I am triggered. I am real life triggered. Because, Chris, it is the hypocrisy here. Y'all suck Lamar Jackson, y'all deep throat him, and then y'all clean up afterwards. But then in the same token, yeah, bro, he going to go for Jared Goff in a 7th round pick.
I didn't say a 7th round pick. I said
my fault, a 6th.
I said like 3 or 4 firsts. You got it.
The Ravens aren't gonna want that.
Yes, they would. How would you not? Okay.
If you're losing Lamar in 2 years anyways, move on now. That's what it is.
So to answer Damien's questions here, to kind of chop this up a little bit. He asked, why would the Lions trade for Lamar when they can use a draft pick for QB and get one cheaper than what they're going to have to pay Lamar? So what the point we're making, Damien,
is
Mike and
you guys
is
don't make it right. I want to make
the
sure
Lions, say for instance, the Lions get 6 or 7 wins. They're not getting a top quarterback in this next year's draft. That's why we're having this entire conversation.
So can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? A legitimate question, Mike and Craig.
I'll do my best.
Don't you think it is more likely for the Lions, with the abundance of picks that they have still, to go to someone in the top 5 and say, yo, we'll give you this pick, this pick, this pick, this pick, and that pick for your top 5 pick? Don't you think that is because in my opinion, that is far more likely.
Oh, 100%.
Than them going out in the market.
I will agree. That's far more likely. We're just talking about. No, just hang on.
I'm 2
We're
for
just
2 right
talking
now.
about.
I got you to agree with me here and with Tua. Let's go.
We're just talking about would the Lions be entertaining the conversation for Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
And we're saying yes, they would. And then we got into a whole different conversation about what that trade would look like.
Pride is my baby. That's my baby dog. But I'll tell you what, he did not listen once he gets triggered. It's just what happens.
You're right. You're right. I don't.
Gonzo, Chris, Pride. The first thing I said was, if you miss out on CJ or Bryce.
But that's why I didn't bring them up, though. But I didn't bring them up.
Who the fuck else is in the top 5, Pride?
No, but no.
Now you got Mike triggered. Way to go.
I only said that because of what David said. Hold on, Mike.
No, go ahead.
Mike,
tell me with a straight face that Uma Babunga from fucking Clemson is going top 5. Or going top 5.
DJ Ukulele needs to stay at home, bro.
Oh, my goodness.
But listen, I only brought that up because
fuck you, too.
I would brought that up because what Damien said about them getting a thing.
And fuck Damien. I don't give a fuck.
This is Mike. This is what we're trying to stay away from.
I don't care. I'm mad now.
Craig,
I tried
Mike,
doing
I love
it.
you, but
I covered all of my angles. I covered everything so Pride couldn't home me on live TV, and he still didn't hear me.
I didn't do that.
You holding me.
But I didn't bring them up until this last point, and I was a genuine question.
I don't care.
More likely, and I don't listen when I'm triggered.
Oh. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk some college football.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it. Top 5, go.
Let's talk some college football. We got about 15 minutes. We got about 15 minutes this morning. This is the stuff. Those of you that are tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. This is what happens here on ASAP in the morning. So, hey, you gotta, if you guys like this stuff, you got to go check out us on all platforms. Like, share, comment.
Mike is on. Mike is.
You can give Mike and Pride a hard time in the comments.
You can check out
we'll be okay with it.
At the Sports Empire Network, and he'll steal your money. That's
All right, let's move on here. College football this weekend. What games are on your guys' watch list?
Tennessee.
I mean, if Ryan Tannehill is taking his if he's taking a step back. I'm honestly, no lie, Clemson and North Carolina.
NC State.
Yeah, NC State. That one to me, because I've said that Craig, I think you and I talked about this. DJ Ukulele, I'm sick of him. Kid had 2 good games. I think it was last week he had a great game, and then the first game he came in for Notre Dame. Ever since then, he's been the definition of mediocrity. If he cannot repeat and it doesn't have to be a phenomenal game, but if he can't repeat a decent game, it's time for Clemson to move on.
He has brick feet.
Bro, it's hard. This dude is horrible. Oklahoma State and Baylor should be a good one. One game that I don't know if no one else really cares about this one.
Probably not.
Probably not, but USC and Arizona State. I think, Craig, we had this conversation before it started.
Those are the fun games.
I am a US. I don't have a team, but if I have to pick one, Lincoln Riley invited to the cookout. He can bring whatever he wants. He can bring whatever he wants, and I will eat it. I will eat it, and I will smile. Because Lincoln Riley looks like he can't cook. He overcooks stuff. You can tell he don't look like he can cook. I've never seen his wife, but a lot of people say that she looked like she could really chef it up in the kitchen. I don't know. I never seen her. I don't know. But Lincoln Riley look like he overcooks stuff. He can't cook popcorn, but he can bring whatever he wants, and I'll eat it. I said a 3-loss USC team could still make the college playoffs. I'm sticking by it. I stopped when I said 4 though, because I was like, "That's a reach." Now I'm a little too crazy. Yeah,
I think Kentucky and Ole Miss could be a good game as well.
Yeah,
Kentucky, Ole Miss?
Kentucky's number 7, Ole Miss 14. It's going to be in Oxford, Miss. That's at noon.
It's in Mississippi.
It's at Ole Miss.
Oh, I think Mississippi gets upset then.
That's going to be a good one. Let's see what other top 25 matches. You already mentioned Oklahoma State, Baylor. I think that's going to be a really good game
Florida
for
State,
Oklahoma State. Yeah, Wake Forest and Florida State. Florida State's back in the top 25. They're trying to claw their way back up into national relevance, and Wake Forest is trying to avenge that loss, that double overtime loss to Clemson.
Oh yeah.
Last week.
I think I know it's also kind of like Pride said, it's one not a lot of people are going to care about, but right now I think it's really dope to kind of see that UCLA is 4-0 and you see Washington's 4-0, so that's going to be a really interesting game too. I think that one's today.
That's tonight.
Yeah, I was about to say that's today. It's a late game. Here's the question I want to pose to y'all. UCLA with the win, if they beat Washington, they're 5-0. Do they get ranked?
Oh, if UCLA wins tonight, yeah.
Because I think UCLA should have been ranked. That's just me. I think they should have been like 25, maybe 24. That's just me.
I can see that.
I'd have to look at their schedule. I don't know who they've played.
Honestly, I always say this. I think 20 through 40, shit like that, it's just based off of your name. It really is. It has nothing to do with the actual rankings. The guys who are doing the rankings are so bad at their job. They're just like, oh, yeah, that school was good when I was a kid, so I'm going to put them in 30. And it's like
that's my alma mater.
Yeah,
I went to Baylor, so let's put them 16th. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. So to your point, Pride, to kind of go over their schedule, they haven't really played anyone yet. They played Bowling Green, Alabama State, South Alabama, and then at Colorado. However, their next 3 games are all against ranked teams. Home against Washington, home against Utah, and then at Oregon.
Hey, Tony, how do you say that suck me from the back thing?
Mámelo por atrás.
Say it again.
Mámelo por atrás.
Yeah, well, Craig just said that to all of Alabama, apparently.
But here's
they played Alabama State and South Alabama. What do you want from me?
Here's the thing, Craig, because we had this conversation. I don't like looking solely at your competition because A, they don't choose it, and B, these are schedules made years ago.
And that's my comment here. I know Devin had made a comment. It's as bad as U of M's. These non-conference schedules are made years in advance.
So that's why I feel like it's like that's just me. I think it's unfair to put too much cachet in that because it's like you're scheduling these back when they were good, and then if they fall to irrelevance, a matchup that would have been nice 5 years ago ain't the same now. So why should you hold that same merit? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just me though.
I'm agreeing with you on that 100%. We've talked about that in previous shows. But I think to that point, you know, in the Big Ten, Michigan's on the road at Iowa. Iowa's offense is absolutely atrocious, but their defense is still pretty phenomenal. Good. Yeah, their defense has scored, I think, more than their offense or close to it through the first couple weeks. That's gonna be the first true test for JJ McCarthy as a starter.
It's crazy, bro.
First true test. What's another ranked game? Bama against Arkansas. Arkansas lost against Texas A&M.
Yeah, Arkansas's getting blown out. Let's just keep it a beam.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that one.
Yeah, they getting blown out.
Blow my back out like on a.
I mean,
now you feel me?
I heard you, baby cakes. Here's another one that I'm kind of curious. Excuse me.
Disgusting.
This is one I'm kind of interesting. Texas A&M playing against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
If A&M loses again, we gotta get them out of here, coach. I don't care you gotta get them out of here. Get them out of here, bro.
How Texas A&M would that be? They lose to App State, and then they go on the road to Mississippi State, and then lose again.
That's the most Texas A&M thing you can do. That'd be the most Texas. That's just Texas A&M in a nutshell.
So I have a great question for you guys, because we had Pride. You kind of touched on this, and we talked about the USC and their climb back into the playoff picture. So the top 5, you've got Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Clemson. Clemson's got a top 10 matchup against NC State. At number 6 is USC. If USC handles business this weekend, do we see USC jump into the top 5?
If if Clemson or Michigan loses. Because if, in my opinion, again, me, if we're doing it based on my delusional opinion, USC is 1. All right? Okay? Yeah. Now, I get it. Listen, the only reason I'm saying 1, let me just clarify it. There's a lot of bias in there. Because when Lincoln Riley went over there, I was like, Lincoln Riley? That's his last name is my first name. I'm rolling deep with you. So ever since then, I've been rolling deep with Lincoln Riley, right? So like, that's just my biasness. And then I went on that whole spiel. A 4-loss USC can make the college football playoffs. So I feel like I've doubled down too much. So in my opinion, I think they should have been a top 5 team already. I would have them over Clemson. The reason why I would have them over Clemson, frankly, the way USC plays, it is a much cleaner version of football. Clemson a lot of times needs some breaks in order to seal the deal. I'm looking at a USC team that won because they deserved it. Yeah. They didn't have to cross the fingers and hope for some luck.
I don't trust Clemson's offense yet.
It's their quarterback more specifically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real.
Another game
is not good.
Another game I don't know a lot of people care about, but I think it's going to be interesting. You got Kansas, who's 4-0, who's usually a basketball school, but are 4-0 in football against Iowa State, who's 3-1. So that should be an interesting game to see if Kansas can keep this winning streak going.
It's like 2007 all over again. Kansas is undefeated in football. I think to that question, the 2 most vulnerable teams this weekend to drop out of the top 5 are Michigan and Clemson, because I think Clemson's probably less vulnerable because they are playing against number 10 NC State. But if Michigan goes to Iowa and struggles and it's a close game, I would not be surprised to see Michigan drop down to 5 or 6. And then
if they win, I think they're.
Well, so what I'm saying is the 2 most vulnerable teams to get leapfrogged by USC are Michigan and Clemson. But Clemson's got a top 10 matchup. So if they win, that is going to weigh probably a little bit heavier in the AP voters. And then Michigan, a conference road but unranked team, if it's close, I think they're vulnerable to drop down a spot or 2, even if they win, because that's just it. Like I said, it's USC's brand name. And to have them in the top 5 is not bad for college football.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. USC.
Yeah, those are some of the.
Never been a California a day in my life, but that's my team.
Penn State and Northwestern. Penn State's been sneakishly very good this year.
Are you sure about that?
Sneakishly very good.
Yeah, he doubles down.
Of course, I'm going to double down, Pride.
I don't know. And another game I kind of want to see, and this one, Utah. And my voice cracked. They play Oregon State.
Yep.
I want them so bad to just be top 10. Be top 10, bro. Please be top 10.
Oh man, if they would be if they had beaten Florida.
Yeah, but dog shit. I want them to be top 10 though, because that way, when they meet up at old UNC, they get mollywopped, and when that happens, to the moon, that's where we're going, baby, because we cover for you, Georgia. God, I can't say that with a straight face. Fuck.
Yeah,
I tried, man. I can't.
USC is going to be a real interesting play to watch. A couple weeks they play Utah.
I think you give Lincoln Riley a couple seasons there. He'll get that USC defense turned around, and they're really going to be scary.
Oh yeah. But
UConn's just not good, Damian. They shouldn't even have a football team anymore. So yes, UConn's going to lose. I don't even know who they're playing, but they're probably going to lose.
Whatever. Anyway.
Whatever.
That's like talking about Indiana football. Come on, Damian. I'm an Indiana fan, but I don't mention Indiana football.
You can stay away from that conversation.
USC, they play Arizona State tomorrow.
Yep.
That's a win. Then they play Washington State. That's a win. And then then they play Utah. And then we're going to just destroy them, bro. Notre Dame isn't ranked?
No, they dropped out a couple weeks ago.
Let's go. Hold on. Let me see. Did they get any votes?
I doubt it.
Nah, they didn't. You piece of shit.
You think Freeman makes it through the season?
Yeah. Isn't
it his first season?
Yeah, it's his first full season. Yeah. He was the interim coach for the bowl game or something last year.
For bowl game.
Oh yeah, okay, okay. Yeah. I remember that whole debacle.
He still will be the coach there next year, but I think if he has another season, Mike, appreciate you being on this morning. You can't jump back on. Y'all be safe. I think if Freeman has another year, a start next year like he does this year, the hot seat conversation heats up drastically. But I think he'll last at least 2 seasons, but I don't know if he goes more than that. Unless he really turns it around.
I think this year they will be okay with him kind of, being bad. I think next year they're going to look for improvement.
Yeah.
I love you too, Mikey. But Michael, I think that would be my if I'm Notre Dame, I let them if we suck, we suck. I don't care. Make improvements next year. If there's no improvement, get him out. Then we're moving on. But I'm not gonna come at him too hard for this week. Pause. But
that was a quick pause there, right?
Yeah, but nah. Yeah. When does Notre Dame play again? Fucking bums. Where are they? Who do they play? They don't. Clowns. Piece of garbage.
Notre Dame off this weekend?
Yeah, they're off. They play next week against BYU.
That'd be a tough game too. Is that at BYU?
I want to say yes. Yeah, it's at BYU.
That's gonna be a tough game.
Yes.
If Notre Dame loses, I'm peeing myself.
BYU's tough to beat. They just won last night against Utah State at home, 38-26. They're 19th in the country. But that's gonna be a tough game for Notre Dame to try to go out there and win. Damien's question, what's happening with LSU? Brian Kelly is what's happening to LSU. And that's all I have to say about that. Brian Kelly.
I agree, Brian Kelly. I didn't understand why. I still don't understand why he's so highly touted that people want to keep going after him.
I don't know either.
I don't know, man. It's just
he knows some people.
There's just some bums that suck. There's some bums that suck at what they do, and yet people love them. I mean, take a look at Lamar Jackson.
Mike's not here. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh man, what a time to be alive. Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua, yeah. Let's just on that note. Let's hope that Tua is healthy. He did travel back with the team last night after the game down to Miami. So we'll be looking forward to seeing what updates come out of Miami's camp about Tua, his health, and of course the investigation that's going to happen with the NFLPA over the next couple weeks about last week's game against the Buffalo Bills. So definitely tune in to ASAP network of shows, of course, here on ASAP in the morning. You can find us on all social media outlets that you watch or listen. YouTube, ASAP Sports Network, on Facebook at All Sports All Plays, Twitter, ASAP Network 1, and on Twitch at ASAP Network. Make sure if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, give us a like, give us a follow, a subscribe. We got a few subscriber goals we're trying to hit for YouTube where this close to 1,000 on YouTube. So go hit that sub button and hit the bell for notifications so you are notified every time any show on ASAP Network is live. And we live stream a lot of our shows, so we've got a lot of great content out there on ASAP Network. Some of that lineup that we have this evening, Horseshoe Talk, 6 o'clock, correct, Gonzo?
Yep.
6 o'clock, Horseshoe Talk, and then Jags Nation is from 7 to 9 tonight. This afternoon, we've got Afternoon Blitz at 1, Easy Money at 3, and then over the weekend, tomorrow, College Football Breakdown is Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Red Kingdom is Saturday at 2 p.m. And then Sunday evening, Jags Nation postgame is 9:30 p.m. We'll be back Monday morning. Yeah, what's up, Gonzo?
Can I just a couple things real quick?
Yeah.
Sunday we'll also be doing a live watch along for the Colts Titans game at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be on the All Sports All Plays as well. And Saturday night, if you're a pro wrestling fan, we're going to be live streaming a big show. WWE Hall of Famer and hardcore legend Mick Foley will be at the show. Also, WWE legend The Boogeyman is going to be there. And we'll be live streaming that Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on All Sports All Plays and on Gonzo Sports Room. So come join us Saturday night for a big night of wrestling action if you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah, wrestling fans, we got a lot of great content there as well. Wrestling Hour happens throughout the week. Gonzo's Sports Room, and they cover a lot of wrestling shows as well. So definitely check all that out here on All Sports All Plays Network. Pride, I know you're in the path of Hurricane Ian, which is strengthened back up. So hopefully everybody stays safe where you are.
Oh, and then it's already raining mad hard, and like the wind is already kind of hard. Pause.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm looking out the window, and it's like.
Have you got through the worst of it, Craig? I know it was.
Yeah, it's still a little windy, not really rainy anymore, but all the worst is past us in Central Florida, so we are in the clear for right now. But I'm heading back to work this afternoon, so it's all going to be back to normal here, hopefully very soon. But I know a lot of people, friends and acquaintances that live in the Fort Myers and Tampa area have been majorly affected by Hurricane Ian. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them, and hopefully that everyone is safe. Property can be replaced, but people cannot. So really hope that everyone, unless you're Pride, apparently, but hopefully everybody stays. Hopefully everybody stays safe. If you are in the path or have been affected by Hurricane Ian, but yeah, that's any last words before we head off into our weekends, gentlemen?
Drugs are good. I jest. It was fun coming back to be back with y'all. Like the old saying goes, if you ever cross the street and see a squirrel, seek shelter because water is good for you.
Prideful takes this morning. Thanks for joining us again, Pride. Love having you back here on the morning show. Yes, Gonzo is going to be a busy man today, all over ASAP Network, so be on the lookout for all that. For Pride, for Gonzo, I'm Craig. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you Monday morning here on ASAP in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.